Second by Ms. Smith. That the board approve the social media process policy as presented. Comments? Roll call?
Lightline.
Yes.
None.
Yes.
Marshall, yes. Shelkoff.
Yes.
Billmeyer. Donovan.
Yes.
Jacobson. Yes. Kleinschmidt, absent. Oley.
Yes. Everybody got the book copy, put that in your new
Yeah. What goes in your book, please?
Next one is our assessment policy, action item F. We currently have the assessment policy 6260 located in the board policy. We would like to delete the current board policy of 6260 in place of the new assignment guideline in our district staff handbook. Recommendation is that the board approve the revised assessment policy as presented and eliminate board policy number 6260. Need a motion? Asher, second by Donovan. That the board approve the revised assessment policy as presented and eliminate the board policy number 6260. Comments? Roll call.
Oshner, yes. Donovan.
Yes.
Shelkoff.
Yes.
Billmeyer.
Yes.
Jacobson. Yes. Lightline.
Yes.
Kleinschmidt, absent. None.
Yes.
Oley.
Yes. Next up is action item G, classified salaries. The finance committee met and have a recommendation.
Yeah, the finance committee recommends a 2.5 hourly increase, percentage increase for the 2011, 2012 year.
I'll second.
Moved by Rogers, second by yourself, that the board approve the finance committee's recommendation of a 2.5 increase in classified staff wages. Comments?
You guys, everybody get a copy, it's very, very well done. I just appreciate that, it's very organized.
I can get everyone one if they want.
Might be interesting to have, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Any other comments? Roll call?
Jacobson, yes. Oshner, yes. Shelkoff.
Yeah.
Billmeyer.
Yes.
Donovan.
Yes.
Lightline.
Yes.
Kleinschmidt, absent. None.
Yes.
Oley.
Yes. Next action item is action item H, recognize the FCBA as an official bargaining unit. Each year, the Teachers Education Association asks to be recognized by the Board of Education to serve as the exclusive bargaining unit for negotiations for teaching staff. Recommendation is that the board recognizes the FCEA as exclusive bargaining unit for the teaching staff. Need a motion? Donovan? That the board recognizes the Fillmore Central Education Association as the exclusive bargaining unit for teaching staff. Any comments? Roll call?
Donovan. Shelkoff. Yes. Billmeyer. Jacobson.
Yes.
Lightline.
Yes.
Kleinschmidt, absent. None.
Yes.
Oshner, yes. Oley.
Yes. Okay, folks, that takes us into our discussion items. And our first up is facilities committee.
Mark is gonna take charge, I think, Sean.
Okay.
You and Dave might slide where you can see, and I think everybody else can tell. It's all yours.
Thank you for coming. Most of the folks in the back have helped with this committee for 3 meetings this year, and I know several of the folks in the back have helped the year before that. So, and I appreciate the turnout tonight. I appreciate all of you coming here and allowing the board to see some of the energy and excitement that might be behind these ideas up here. The ideas up here are things that come out of the meetings. They're not mine. I'm just up here trying to kind of facilitate this, provide some discussion, and as I stated, that if there's anything to add, please do so if there's something I missed, okay? So, my first slide is just how did we get here? In 2008, 2009, there was a survey completed by parents, patrons during parent-teacher conferences, I believe, and the survey results showed strong interest in adding or/slash improving our facilities. There were 4 or 5 meetings and visits to schools during the 2009-2010 school year. And then this year, during the 2010-2011 school year, we have 3 meetings and presentation tonight. So just a little history so you know how we got here. As a committee met, one of the first things we wanted to do was we wanted to look at why would we consider this? What's behind the reason to look at our facilities and our committee? So the first place we looked was a little bit about the sports and activities going on. And in 2010, we have 10 high school sports, 32 middle school and high school teams. If you think about basketball, boys basketball, for example, there's varsity, JV, reserve, 7th grade, 8th grade. So there's 5 teams within one sport there. In 2010, we have 15 to 20 youth teams in grades 3 through 8 participating at various times throughout the school year. I think we have really good participation rates with our youth. Continuing with why we would look at this, just comparing to 1976. If you're wondering why 1976, at the bottom, that was when the current high school we're in now was built. In 1976, we had 8 high school sports teams, 16 middle school and high school teams, 0 youth teams in grades 3 through 8 participating at various times throughout the school year. We got the annuals out, and some of the people just a little bit older than me said, no, I didn't do anything until I was in 7th grade, which was kind of interesting. So we'll keep going with why we looked at this, why we might be looking at facilities. You may remember the headlines in the Nebraska Signal on November 2nd, 2010. We had 7 youths caught with vandalism, and one of the thoughts coming from that was we need activities to keep our youth busy and involved. Other activities, our community supports the arts, and our arts do very well, and I listed several of them there. The downtown gym does not meet our needs in its present condition. It is in need of repair and is connected to a building we do not own. Several comments in our meetings were about recruitment and competition for students and families to move back to Geneva or stay in Geneva or stay in Fillmore County. Another person said there's 3, we can get down to 3 campuses instead of 4. We have the elementary campus now, the downtown gym campus, the high school campus, and the middle school campus in Fairmont. If I'm missing anything or important, just chime in. Continuing with why we would look at this, the parking at the downtown gym is very inadequate. I believe some of the drivers would feel that it's dangerous trying to back out of those parking spots onto Highway 41. Without a theater, there's a loss of class time in PE classes. PE classes are frequently asked to set up for performances in the gym, and they set up and that takes away their PE time. And there's a loss of practice time for sports and activities, because if you're going to set up for performance, obviously your practice time is going to be cut short as well. Other things we talked about will be the high school entry, as it is now, is difficult to supervise and keep secure when you compare it to the elementary school and the middle school, who have pretty secure entrances, and they can supervise and keep them pretty secure. In 2008, an architect estimated the cost to update the downtown gym at over $1 million. I remember sitting at the board meeting when that information was brought to the board meeting at that time, and a board member said, I don't want to spend that on that building. And so some thoughts from that were that we would still have an old gym, a 4th campus, and a gym connected to a building we do not own. Another person said, is the Rialto Theater viable for another 10, 20, 30 years? And we use the Rialto Theater now for one act and several practices and performances. Ideas that came out of this too were the downtown gym could be used by the City of Geneva for adult sports and activities. I think the GAD department would probably have some interest in utilizing that. We could provide expanded health and PE curriculum. New space could include room for fitness machines to be added to the PE curriculum. More kids would be active and healthier. We could expand the shop classroom and shop work area back to the original size. Our current weight room takes up just about half of the shop classroom where it is now. And I know that there's some interest in getting that back to its original size. Continuing with why, new and or updated facilities should allow Geneva to stay competitive with towns on the I-80 corridor, because graduates and new families will be coming home to Fillmore County. Safety concerns, students driving to practices, theater and athletics, and giving rides illegally. We had several parents at this meeting say, it's difficult to get, you don't think about it, K through 8, but then you got a freshman son or daughter who has to get to the Rialto Theater, mom and dad are working for a practice after school. How does he or she get down there? Well, maybe they have a learner's permit or they don't. How do they get down to the gym? Well, if it's nice, they can walk. Or how do they get down to the theater? If it's not nice, how do they get down there? There are some concerns from parents about that. Our basketball teams average 15 to 20 players. Right now, the girls' team is up to 25, 26, 27 girls. And that, we only have 2 hoops at the downtown gym and limited space, and it does create some practice limitations. That kind of sums up the why, some of the reasons we came up with. I'm sure there's more. That's what our committee has kind of landed on over the last 2 years, talking about this. So then we thought we would take our needs and prioritize them and put them in priority order. And the first need that the committee felt was a performance theater was the #1 priority. The second need we felt was a gym, a wrestling space, a weight room, and probably 2 more locker rooms. The third priority need would be ag and science classroom expansion and renovation. If you get a weight room, you can get your, if you get the weight room, then you get your shop classroom back. And then maybe the ag classroom could be expanded because some people on the committee said that, that Ranke brought in that great welding project, and it takes up a pretty big corner of our shop right now. And it's a great project for our students, a lot of training with them, but felt maybe a little more expansion there would be something to consider. And our science classroom was built in 1976, could use an updating. What is that, 24, 34, 35 years old? They could use an updating to bring them in more modern, make them more modern and allow for some better instruction, better labs. The fourth priority was a new commons entryway, updated, restrooms added, and concessions area added. Those are probably things that come out of, if you're looking at a theater or maybe a gym, some things that come up along the way. If you're not aware, there is really only 1 set of restrooms available in the high school right now. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that's right there. That's the only set of restrooms we have other than the locker rooms. So, the fifth priority would have been if you build a theater or another gym up here, we want to probably have a little more paved parking. And on this slide too long. And the last one was an indoor batting cage, was mentioned as the last priority item that was brought forward from the committee. Okay, so we've done the why, we've done the needs, we've prioritized the needs, and then we talked about some considerations for this. Why would we be for this? Some of the comments coming from the group were, will other districts join us? Will updating our facilities keep us competitive with other communities and schools for recruiting students? Another thing to consider would be the increasing land and real estate values. The school district owns the land that would be needed to build or expand upon. The Fillmore Central levy has gone down 3 years in a row. All good things. Fillmore Central District does not rely heavily on state aid. You heard Mr. Norvell talk about that tonight. The current budget crisis in Nebraska's legislature will have very little effect on Fillmore Central. Financially, we're in a very, very good spot. We then took a little play off the new signal for the town of Geneva, the new signs and banners, the growth, the vision. We thought those were important things to think about, to do some expansion. The future of Fillmore Central, staying competitive, continuing with more reasons why this should be considered. Many communities near Interstate 80 are building and renovating their schools. Fillmore Central is obviously near that and right on Highway 1, another important highway in the Midwest. Right now is a great time to build. I'm sure we've all are aware of that. There's a hospital in the bids they were able to get. The architects, contractors are competing. The curriculum and class offerings